Thank you for calling the Palm Beach County Voter Hotline. Please listen carefully, for the following menu options have changed. If you need help filling out your ballot, please press 1. If you don't know what the number 1 looks like, please press 2. If you are confused which way the arrow points, please press 3. If you would like information sent to you on what a circle looks like, please press 0. For help verifying you have opposable thumbs, press 5. If you would like help locating the rock you crawled out from under, press 6. To restart this menu, press the star key. To destroy your phone, pound all keys simultaneously. If you cannot hear these options, please remove your head from your ass. For all other inquiries, please continue to hold.
All right, so since the state of California is more or less a completely failed state and likes to pass nice draconian gun laws, any receiver that's been home built is going to need a serial number by, I think, January 1st, 2017. Maybe it's 2018. Forget now. They passed so many laws this current session of the legislature, I can't keep them all straight. Anyway, they're going to need serial numbers and other ATF compliant markings that match up what's found in the Code of Federal Regulations based on Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 921, and what follows after. So, what we've got here is we've got vinyl cut decals, and they've been reverse cut so that they can be overlaid on the steel or aluminum that you need to etch and put the markings on. These are about, I don't know, I guess they're a little hair over a quarter inch or something. Let's see, what do we got here? These are, not quite, these are call it 2075, call it 208. So they're a little bit under a quarter inch, and I think they're still too big, but that was the smallest size that I could get. So the first thing I did is, this is an aluminum Razor 1022 style receiver. I took off all the anodizing, which was actually really hard, a lot harder than getting the anodizing off of your typical, $50, $60 AR lower. So they probably put a good anodizing on there, and this came from them with the anodizing. I didn't have it done. The decal came in a square sheet, about yay big. Just give you an idea of the size, and so I cut it with just a sharp pair of scissors and applied it. Now I took this anodizing off about 3 or 4 days ago, and before I put the project down, I made sure to cover the bare area in oil, because what will happen is aluminum will oxidize on contact with air, which it's actually doing right now as I talk, and that aluminum oxide layer, which is very similar to what the anodizing basically is, it's just aluminum oxide with a dye in it to give it a color. That's why you have pink receivers, purple receivers, black receivers, whatever. It's not conductive, or it's not easily conductive of electricity. And this process is going to use acid etching by way of electric transfer of material. And the acid is really simple. I just got this little jar here of household vinegar, and about 3/4 of a cup of household vinegar. And let's see, what else? Oh, and some salt, just non-iodized table salt. You need a bunch of Q-tips. All right, you're going to want a pretty basic battery charger like that one. You can pick them up in most auto parts stores. They're cheap. They last, it seems, forever. I've had this one for, I don't know, over 10 years now. And then to hold the Q-tips, which are going to be soaked, those Q-tips there, which are going to get dipped in that acid salt mix, just a little double-ended lead with alligator clips on either end. It's going to make it a lot easier to work with. And you should probably figure on going through, for this much etching, probably 30, maybe 20 Q-tips, depending. The better electrical contact that you get, the faster the etching will go. I've heard people say it's taken them hours and hours to do etching. One of the requirements is that this etching go at least 3/1000ths below the surface of the material that you're etching into. And I'm not sure why people are having such a hard time. Maybe they're using lower amperage power supplies. I'm not sure. This one will put out 2 amps or 6 amps. The AR lower that I did a few days ago, I set it up on 6 amps, and I was done in about 40 minutes or so, and using the same size lettering and the same amount of information, things like that. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit less. I'm not going to put a model number on here because I'm not sure that the model number is absolutely required, and I believe the law says something like if applicable or if existing. And I'm just tired of making stuff up to keep ATF and the state happy. So there's that. So we're going to go ahead and pause this for a second and go ahead and get started. Oh, of course, make sure you strip down your receiver. I didn't take the barrel off because I've got that barrel set up just the way I want it. All right, so I've got things more or less set up here. You have to put the positive lead on the workpiece itself. That will be your anode, right? Anode? I think anode. And then the negative, which is this little yellow one right here, that's your cathode. The reason for that is that as the pixies, the angry little pixies, flow from the positive side to the negative side, that's what's going to be, in conjunction with this nice acid, salt, evil mix, what carries the material away, at least in part. And you want to make sure you've got decent electrical contact. So you can take the negative and you just kind of quickly tap it to the surface that you plan to work on or to etch. So you can probably see the sparks. It is sparking. It's not the greatest spark, but it'll do. It'll do. So take your Q-tip and your acid mix up like yonder. Get your Q-tip nice and wet in the acid. Nice and drippy. And I dropped it on the ground. That's awesome. Try again. Another one. And you want the alligator clip to go on the damp part of the Q-tip. Get a good connection there. Move this out of the way. And yes, I know that the word multi is crooked. I'm not going to worry about it. This is going to get refinished anyway when I'm done. And you just set it down there. And I'm not sure if the camera's picking this up, but you will start to see little bubbles coming up. See, that's all starting to bubble there. And that's it doing its magic. And you just work it over the letter, or over the cutout of the letter. And I can tell right now I don't have as good a contact on this workpiece as I did on the last workpiece. But it should be good enough. So this one might take longer. And that's all you do. You just keep going over it. Back and forth. You make sure you work the Q-tip into the areas, the little corners of the letters especially. Like for the numbers, the very ends right here. All right, and it's etching away. And at first it may not seem like anything's happening. As you look more closely at the material itself, you can actually see that the contours of the surface are changing, and that's your big indication right there that you're actually taking material off. That's what you want to do. You want to be taking that material off. Now, the tail piece on my calipers is not small enough to fit inside these letters, if you will, so getting an absolute depth measurement is a little tricky, and I'm pretty much been going by fingernail. ATF says 3/1000. If you take a pair of calipers and grab a sheet of just regular old, I don't know, like 20-pound bond paper out of your printer, that's going to be probably about 4/1000 thick. So you only have to go as deep as about a sheet of paper. On some earlier tests that I did where I just cut the stencils out of blue tape, that stuff right there, I was able to get down anywhere from 6 to 7/1000 on a single letter or on a single etching. Took a while, but it does work. And that was on aluminum that I tested that, and I also tested on steel. Steel does take a little bit longer, but it's not too bad. And that's pretty much all you need to do. Just keep working over this. When you get to like areas like the letter A where they have that little um, tiny triangular piece for the cutout of the A, the upper part of the A, you just have to be careful how much you rub. You want to use more of a pressure and kind of a rocking motion. If you rub too much, that little triangular piece is going to come off, and then you're going to end up with a triangle with legs for a marking instead of the letter A. And again, I don't know if ATF would care about that. I've seen plenty of lousy roll marks on AR lowers. I've seen lousy roll marks on 1911 pistols. I've even seen a few bad ones on Glocks. Um, and these are roll marks for the actual identification markings, not just for the company name or a design or something pretty like that. So anyway, that's all there is to it. And you just go along, and as soon as I'm done here, because you don't want to watch another half an hour or hour of me doing this, I'll kick back on the camera and you can see the final product.